It's so interesting. You mentioned there the case of Mike. He came to you and he had self-diagnosed his situation. And I'm not surprised, frankly, because of the world we live in now, there's a lot of people calling a lot of things depression and anxiety. We kind of use that word quite flippantly when we go through different moods and situations. How do you think the whole mental health and psychology sort of revolution we've seen over the last 10 years and the TikTokification of mental health has led us astray?
So I think there are some things that are good about it and some things that are problematic. So I think the really good thing about it is that there is a lot more awareness of mental health. So we now realize, so what I used to see about 10 years ago, right, when I was seeing patients is like, people would come in and they would not realize that this is a problem that can be fixed. So people would come into my office and they'd say, I'm a loser. Other people are able to get out of bed, they're able to have discipline, they're productive, they're happy, but I'm a loser, I have no willpower, I'm pathetic, I can't get out of bed. People didn't realize that that was depression. I've worked with so many people who have adult diagnosis of ADHD, which many years ago, you couldn't even be diagnosed as an adult. ADHD had to be something that was kind of like a pediatric diagnosis. So now I think the best thing is that people recognize that, okay, maybe what is wrong with me is not like me. I'm not fundamentally broken in some way, but there is some kind of process going on in my brain, in my mind, that is responsible for my problems. And if I fix that, then I can be well. Now, on the flip side, what started to happen is no one on the internet understands the concept of differential diagnosis. So everyone is like, oh, I have a TikTok that if you sometimes forget your keys, you have ADHD. If you are happy in the morning and sad, if you have a kid who throws temper tantrums, they're bipolar. So everyone is taking a symptom and jumping to a diagnosis. Whereas like literally half of what we learn in med school and what we do as doctors is everyone thinks it's about treatment. It's about differential diagnosis. It's about understanding that if you lose your keys, there are all kinds of reasons for that. If you have difficulty getting out of bed, maybe it's depression, maybe it's trauma, maybe it's ADHD, maybe it's anemia, maybe it's obstructive sleep apnea. And so the biggest problem is that everyone is jumping to a conclusion on the internet, which then causes problems because that may not be the right conclusion.